So tell us the nature of why you're here.
We're here to promote our show, Strike Back.
Oh.
Project Dawn, as it's known here. New series for Sky, HBO. We finished filming a couple of weeks ago in Budapest. We started in Cape Town, and here we are.
Well, tell us what we can expect from, or what can an audience expect from the show?
It's very much along the veins of Jason Bourne and James Bond and 24, all for big film, a film vibe for television. And like Sully was saying, we started in Cape Town and we went to Durban and then we went to Hungary. We were all over the place to make it look like about 7 different countries that these people are working in. And we represent, in the show, we represent a group called Section 20, which is like an elite counter-terrorism team. And they're pursuing a terrorist called Latif, who's trying to get his hands on biological chemical weapons and disperse them in major cities.
And is it great for you guys? I mean, TV's so strong at the moment, so for emerging talent, original scripts, is that great for you guys to get your teeth into as actors?
It is great.
Yeah. It's good to be working.
No, exactly.
I've heard this question before. It's like, well, we got a job.
Yeah.
I'm not on building sites, and I'm not being a grip anymore. And we get paid to shoot people.
Yeah, no, it's great. And we had great directors. Like Dan Percival came along and said, look, we're just going to make this, we're going to make it big. We're going to have big stunts. The scripts are going to be tight. And every time, what was really refreshing was you'd finish 1 and 2, and then you'd be going on to 3 and 4 and different scripts, and the scripts would come in and you go, actually, they haven't given up. They keep getting better and better and better. The characters are taken to more and more extreme places.
Well, this is, I was wondering as well, how's the character arc for you guys as the series progresses?
Well, I mean, they didn't really know at the start. We were getting scripts quite late, and they sort of they were working out some of the stories and how to tie it all up as we went. But our characters, we start off very different soldiers.
Yeah.
And by the end, we respect each other professionally as far as we're both good soldiers. Michael Stonebridge, Phil's character, is very by the book. My character, Damon Scott, is
not
by a very different book. Does things very differently. But in the end, and throughout saving each other's lives numerous times and being in some pretty hairy situations, they develop a great friendship.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how do the different dynamics then complement each other?
Well, it's that kind of love-hate thing, isn't it? I mean, I think what did come across in the show is that these guys they grate each other, but when it comes down to saving each other's lives or going in and saving other people's lives, they absolutely have each other's backs. They absolutely trust each other when it comes to laying down cover fire and going in. And it was great. We were able to develop this kind of natural rapport we had a month of intensive military training at the beginning of the shoot, and we were working with ex-military guys, SBS guys. And it was all live fire, training with weapons on the shooting range and in rooms. We did evasive driving courses. I mean, it was really, and this kind of banter and this rapport and this kind of competition was it was planted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's good.
Well, I think that was incorporated into the show. I think they saw absolutely. That, took that, and that's where the changes sort of kept coming in. They said, we'll develop this natural sort of banter and camaraderie.
Well, and then that sort of then it kind of builds, like you say, builds up that relationship between the pair of you. Then you can then bring that to the screen, can't you?
Yeah, and it's much more real. It's much just more of who we are.
Sort of organic, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lots of improvising, wasn't there?
We're a shitload of fun.
You say that about improvising when you're working on a big set with explosions and things like that. That probably doesn't allow for a lot of improvisation, does it? Because of safety reasons.
Obviously not with the stunts and you're locked down to certain blocking and set directions. But as far as the banter between Phil and myself, they did let us run with that.
Yeah, and part of the training was exactly. Part of the training was knowing how to talk to each other in a way that was very direct and very simple, because when you are in a firefight or something like, not that I've ever been in it, but what we could gather from what we were told is that it has to be simple, it has to be direct, and we basically would kind of write those scenes or do those scenes as we were taught by our military advisors. So they'd have something scripted and it wouldn't be realistic, you know. So we'd just come into the scene and do it.
And did you work with the same director throughout the series, or was it different directors per episode? So how does that work for you as actors? Because you probably know your parts then better than the director that's on shooting that particular episode. So how does that work?
Well, Dan Percival actually directed the first series of Strike Back with Richard Armitage, and he came on board for 1 and 2 and 9 and 10. So we had kind of the beginning and the end of someone who really understood the show and understood where he wanted to go with the show. And then we had Bill Eagles.
He was fantastic. Paul Wilmhurst. At times, well, it was great. It was, you got something different out of these directors, out of all of these directors, and it was, it's sort of, you'd finish one journey, one block, which was 2 eps. With these guys, and then another director would come in and it'd be a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
And so it keeps you on your toes, and it keeps it interesting too. It's not, it's never going to be the same.
Yeah, it keeps the dynamic there, really, doesn't it? Yeah.
And they can remind you of things that maybe you've got, you've changed and shouldn't have changed, or go a different direction with something. So it is good to have different directions. Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be great for the audiences because. Say you didn't like one episode, hang around and you get a totally different episode next time.
And as well as that, they alternated with DPs, so the look can change slightly and be a bit different as well.
Superb, thank you very much, Phillip. Sullivan, I know you've got a lot of people
Thanks
that want to
very
speak to you today, so thank you for your
cheers.
time.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye.
You.